Aswin Manikandan, Assistant Professor, Pathology Department in Sree Balaji Medical College and Hospital. I am an authorized signatory in Enable Accredited Laboratory. I have 7 international publications in my name and I have 5 years of teaching experience. Our topic today is rheumatic fever and rheumatic heart disease. Rheumatic fever is an immunologically mediated multisystem inflammatory disease that occurs after group A beta hemolytic streptococcal infection. Rheumatic heart disease is a cardiac manifestation of rheumatic fever. The streptococcal infection introduces a protein called M protein, which is a virulence factor that attaches to the tissues and cause inflammation and infection. When the M protein is introduced into the blood supply, our immune system produces antibodies which attack the M proteins and form an immune mediated mechanism. Whereas in what happens is the M protein mirrors or resembles antigens that are normally present in skin, subcutaneous tissue, heart, brain and other organs, and this can lead to antibody mediated injury to the multiple organs which constitute the rheumatic fever. Rheumatic heart disease is a manifestation of rheumatic fever where the antigen antibody complexes immune mediated attack on cells happens on the heart valves. In rheumatic heart disease, mitral valve is the most commonly involved. It is to 65% to 70% involved. Aortic and mitral valve combined together is involved 20 to 25%. Tricuspid and pulmonary valve are less frequently involved. We have acute phase and a chronic phase. In acute phase, ash of bodies are pathognomonic for rheumatic fever. It is characterized with decreased inflammatory foci within a variety of tissues. It can involve any of the 3 layers of heart, endocardium, myocardium and pericardium. When it involves the endocardium of vessels, it forms a characteristic lesion called verrucae. Here in this image, in this arrow, you can see friable vegetation composed of fibrin and along the line of closure of mitral valve. This is a picture of ash of body. This is characteristic of acute rheumatic fever. There is lymphocytes, plasma cells, activated macrophages called Anichkov cells in a fibrin meshwork. Anichkov cells are activated macrophages with prominent cytoplasm and a nucleus with chromatin that is wavy or caterpillar-like. As I said, ash of body can be found in any 3 layers of the heart, endocardium, myocardium and pericardium, and hence rheumatic fever is said to cause pancarditis. In chronic phase, there is organization of acute inflammation and scarring. Since it's replaced by a fibrous scar, ash of bodies are less prominent in chronic rheumatic fever. In chronic cases, since it's healed by fibrosis, this is a picture of mitral valve. You can see fibrous deposition and destruction of the valve leaflets with commissural fusion along the line of closure. This characteristic appearance is called as fish mouth appearance or buttonhole stenosis. This is a picture of an aortic valve where you can see thickening and distortion of cusps with commissural fusion. Clinical features: valvular involvement can deform and scar the valve, causing permanent dysfunction. Rheumatic heart disease. It is a most important cause of acquired mitral stenosis and which can lead to complications such as left atrial hypertrophy and enlargement, atrial fibrillation secondary to atrial dilation, congestive heart failure with chronic pulmonary congestive changes, increased risk of infective endocarditis. To call it as rheumatic fever or rheumatic heart disease, streptococcal infection has to have been there, and there are some criteria to diagnose rheumatic fever. Major criteria are pancarditis, migratory polyarthritis, Sydenham's chorea, subcutaneous nodules and erythema marginatum. Minor criteria are fever, arthralgia, elevated ESR, C-reactive proteins and in ECG prolonged PR interval. Along with the major and minor criteria, a previous exposure to the streptococcal infection is important. This we detect by either positive throat culture or raised anti-streptolysin O antibodies. To diagnose, either 2 major criteria has to be there or 1 major criteria and 2 minor criteria has to be there. In both cases, a recent streptococcal infection has to be there to diagnose rheumatic fever leading to rheumatic heart disease. Next topic for us today is infective endocarditis. It is a microbial infection of the heart valves or endocardium that leads to formation of vegetation composed of thrombotic debris and infective organism. In rheumatic heart disease, it is caused due to antigen antibody mechanism, whereas in infective endocarditis, it is due to infection by microorganisms. It is classified as acute endocarditis or subacute infective endocarditis. Acute infective endocarditis is caused by highly virulent organism like Staphylococcus aureus. Staphylococcus aureus is virulent and can cause rapid damage of the valves and can lead to invasive infection. It predominantly, it can even affect a normal valve, but abnormal valves can also be affected. Clinically, there is rapid onset of fever with rigors, malaise and weakness. Larger vegetations can lead to embolic complications. Splenomegaly is common. In subacute infective endocarditis, compared to acute, it is caused by low virulent organisms like Streptococcus viridans. It can affect a previously injured valve, and there is less valvular restriction compared to that of acute infective endocarditis. Besides Streptococcus viridans, other oral commensals that can cause infective endocarditis are a group of organisms, that is Haemophilus, Actinobacillus, Cardiobacterium, Echinella and Kingella. Clinically, subacute infective endocarditis, there is low-grade fever, weight loss and a flu-like syndrome. Splenomegaly can be seen in both acute infective endocarditis and subacute infective endocarditis. Vegetation tend to be smaller compared to that of acute infective endocarditis, and there is lower mortality compared to that of acute infective endocarditis. It can infect a previously injured valve. Cases like rheumatic heart disease, mitral valve prolapse, degenerative calcific stenosis, bicuspid aortic valve and a prosthetic valve. Infective endocarditis in healthcare setting and intravenous drug abuses is most commonly due to Staphylococcus aureus. During a dental procedure, if a patient comes to you for a dental procedure and you do a dental surgery, the oral commensal sometimes can go to the blood supply and can cause seeding of bacteria in the aort valves. For example, Streptococcus viridans during a dental procedure can seed into the blood supply and cause infective endocarditis. The vegetations are bulky, friable and contain fibrin, inflammatory cells and microorganisms. Vegetation can erode the adjacent myocardium, can lead to ring abscess. This is a picture showing mitral valve. We can see multiple vegetations along the line of closure which is spreading into the adjacent areas. Clinical features, there can be valvular and myocardial damage leading to murmurs also. There can be embolic complication and septic infarcts. The antigen antibody can be deposited in the kidney, can lead to glomerulonephritis, renal failure and death. Blood cultures are important in directing therapy. When these microemboli, these vegetations deposited in multiple other organs, can lead to characteristic lesion. If it involves the skin, it leads to oscular nodes. There are tender lesions found on the pulp of digits, Janvey lesions, erythematous, non-tender lesions on the palm or soles. Eyes, it is retinal hemorrhages called as Roth spots. This is an MCQ for you, just in the dental point of view. Which of the following best explains the relation between Streptococcus viridans and development of endocarditis after a dental procedure? A. The organism is normal oral commensal that can enter the bloodstream and adhere to the damaged heart using extracellular dextrin. The organism produces exotoxin that directly destroys heart valves. The organism is highly virulent and causes acute infective endocarditis. The infection usually arises from nosocomial contamination after surgery. The answer is A, because Streptococcus viridans is a normal oral commensal that can enter the bloodstream and adhere to the damaged heart valves, causing infective endocarditis. This concludes our session today. We will meet again with another topic.